Weather warnings are in place tonight as the second major storm in 2 weeks sweeps into Scotland. Gale force winds, snow and ice are expected in parts of the country as Storm Barra makes landfall. Flood warnings are also in place and there's already been significant travel disruption. That includes ferry services to the Northern and Western Isles. Louise Hosey is at the Northlink ferry terminal tonight in Aberdeen. Louise, what's the latest there?
Yes, Norman, well, those yellow weather warnings still very much in place. That's one for snow and one for gales that could reach between 70 and 80 miles per hour in some eastern areas. As you can see, Storm Barra is already very much making its presence known. We've seen some disruption on the trains and the ferries already, some speed restrictions put in place on the trains, and further disruption expected as the night goes on. As parts of the country are continuing to recover from the damage wreaked by Storm Arwen, another spell of severe weather has arrived. The forecast for Storm Barra may not be as strong as it was for Arwen, but it has already prompted weather warnings and preparations.
We've instigated the MART, which is the Multi-Agency Response Team, so that brings together key partner agencies such as Police Scotland, our trunk road operating companies that deal with the winter maintenance, and we have them in one place in a virtual environment, monitoring and taking proactive measures to make sure that they have resources in place that can deal with and mitigate the circumstances of the weather.
Snowfall of up to 20 centimetres is expected in some parts of the Highlands and Aberdeenshire, with winds reaching up to 80 miles per hour. Heavy rain is also a concern. 10 flood alerts and 2 warnings have been issued, with worries about overtopping waves in coastal areas. Barra has already brought some travel disruption. From 3 o'clock this afternoon, trains between Edinburgh and Aberdeen were being withdrawn, and services from Glasgow Queen Street were going only as far north as Dundee.
We've been paying close attention to the weather forecasts. We know the storm could potentially be disruptive, and so we've been monitoring the developing situation. The advice is very much check before you travel to make sure that things are running well on the route you want to travel on.
Storm Barra comes on the back of Storm Arwen, the worst weather event some areas had seen for decades, which left tens of thousands of people without power. Aberdeenshire Council said existing arrangements for those affected would stay in place due to the further severe weather expected from Barra. Today, a further warning to the public to stay away from devastated wooded areas.
There are trees blown onto the ground which may look safe, but actually they're under a lot of stress from the way they've fallen, and can be unpredictable in the way that they'll react to upcoming storms and changes in wind direction.
Charities today appealed to the public to be mindful of the elderly and those who are the most vulnerable.
It just makes a huge difference for people, particularly who have mobility issues, and we know many older people are feeling isolated, and so just to have that assurance that there is a friendly person nearby that will be looking out for them. The other thing that's really important is we must remind older people to heat their homes, to not worry about that, to not put their health at risk.
Both yellow weather warnings are expected to remain in place until midnight. So the weather really picking up here in Aberdeen and elsewhere. We've already heard of blizzard-like conditions on parts of the A9, and police say not to drive unless your journey is absolutely essential, and if it is, please exercise absolute caution. The Northlink ferry service from Aberdeen to Shetland tonight has been cancelled, and further disruption is expected. And in the past couple of hours, we've heard that the Braemar Mountain Rescue Team has had to be called out to help a man who is stranded in the central Cairngorms. So tonight, for many people, especially those so badly affected by Storm Arwen, they will really be holding their breath as we wait to see the potential impact of this new storm.
Indeed. Louise, thanks for that update.